The rain was coming down so hard that night in Chicago, Illinois, that the streets looked like rivers of liquid silver under the city lights. I still remember gripping the steering wheel, exhausted after a 12-hour shift, when I noticed my coworker, Jacob, stumbling out of the office building. His tie hung loose around his neck, his jacket was soaked, and he could barely walk in a straight line. What happened next would become one of the most unforgettable experiences of my life. Jacob and I worked at the same construction management company. He wasn't my closest friend, but we had shared enough lunch breaks and job site conversations for me to know he was a good man. Lately, though, something had changed. The cheerful father of two had become quiet, distracted, and withdrawn. His smile had disappeared, replaced by dark circles under his eyes and a sadness he tried desperately to hide. As I watched him struggle to unlock his car door, I knew he wasn't in any condition to drive. For a moment I considered simply going home. I was tired. My apartment was 40 minutes away, and all I wanted was sleep. But something inside me refused to leave him there. I walked over and offered him a ride. At first, he resisted. Pride often makes people hide their pain. But eventually he handed me his keys and sank into the passenger seat. The drive was nearly silent. Rain tapped against the windshield, while the city lights blurred into streaks of color. Jacob stared out the window, looking defeated. After several minutes, he quietly admitted that life had been overwhelming. Medical bills were piling up. His youngest daughter had been battling a serious illness for months. The treatments were expensive. His wife had taken extra shifts at work. He felt like he was failing everyone he loved. Listening to him, my heart sank. I had no idea he was carrying such a heavy burden. When we finally arrived at his neighborhood on the south side of Chicago, it was nearly midnight. The house was small and worn, with peeling paint on the porch and a single light glowing in the front window. I helped Jacob walk to the door. Before we even knocked, it opened. Standing there was his wife, Rachel. The worry on her face was impossible to miss. Her eyes immediately filled with relief when she saw her husband safe. The moment Jacob stepped inside, their young daughter ran into the hallway and wrapped her arms around his leg. Despite everything he was going through, a faint smile appeared on his face. It was a simple family moment, but it hit me harder than I expected. Rachel thanked me repeatedly for bringing him home safely. I told her it was nothing, just something anyone would do. But as I turned to leave, she stopped me. There were tears in her eyes. She explained that for months she had been terrified every time Jacob left the house. Stress had consumed him. Some nights he drove for hours just trying to clear his mind. She worried constantly that one bad decision or one difficult night might destroy their family forever. Then she said something I will never forget. She told me that kindness arrives when people need it most, and that sometimes saving someone isn't about grand heroic acts. Sometimes it's simply refusing to walk away when another person is struggling. Those words stayed with me. I drove home that night, thinking about everything she had said. Over the following weeks, I began paying closer attention to the people around me. I noticed coworkers hiding stress behind forced smiles. I noticed neighbors carrying groceries alone. I noticed elderly people who simply wanted someone to talk to. And little by little, I started helping whenever I could. Not because I expected anything in return, but because I had realized how powerful small acts of kindness could be. A few months later, our company organized a charity fundraiser for families facing medical hardships. When management learned about Jacob's situation, employees from every department came. Together, donations poured in. Contractors contributed. Local businesses offered support. The response was overwhelming. For the first time in a long while, hope returned to Jacob's family. His daughter's treatments continued, and thankfully her condition began improving. One afternoon, nearly a year after that rainy night, I received an invitation to a small family gathering. When I arrived, I was shocked. There was laughter everywhere. Children played in the backyard, music drifted through the summer air, and running across the grass with a huge smile on her face was Jacob's daughter. Healthy, happy, full of life. Watching her run felt like witnessing a miracle. Later that evening, Rachel handed me a small framed photograph. It showed their family standing together outside the hospital after receiving encouraging news from doctors. On the back was a handwritten note. It simply said that one rainy night, someone chose kindness over convenience, and that choice helped remind a struggling family they were not alone. I still keep that photograph today. Not because I think I did anything extraordinary, but because it reminds me that every person we meet may be fighting a battle we cannot see. A simple ride home, a few minutes of compassion, a decision to care. Sometimes those small moments create ripples that travel farther than we ever imagine. Before we finish this story, I have a special request. Please comment below. Kindness changes lives. If you believe even the smallest act of compassion can make a difference in someone's world. Years have passed since that stormy night in Chicago, but I still think about it whenever life gets busy. Whenever I'm tempted to focus only on my own problems, I remember Jacob, Rachel, and their daughter. I remember that kindness is never wasted, and I remember that the greatest thank you I ever received wasn't money, gifts, or recognition. It was seeing a family smile again. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, leave a comment, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these meaningful stories reach more people who may need a reminder that compassion still exists in this world. Because sometimes, changing a life begins with something as simple as helping someone get home safely.